Hello everyone. So in this video I'll be explaining attachment styles and I will try and do my best to explain all aspects of attachment styles on how they can affect our relationships in the future, how they affect our relationships already, if you are planning to have a partner, to be in a relationship with your girlfriend, if you're planning to marry someone, if you're planning on living a happy life with your second half, then I feel like you'll benefit greatly from this video. I know I would have benefited from this video a lot if I had watched it, if someone had made this video 5 years ago or even 10 years ago. I would have been in a different situation than I am in now. So let me try and explain attachment styles. I have this PowerPoint slide, um, quite well constructed. So I feel like this will help you out. This video is going to be a longer video, so if you are watching it, then brace yourself to watch it in two parts, maybe even more, because this will be probably an hour long or so. Now, it's going to be an hour long, and try and not scroll down to the comments, try and not get distracted with your phone, try and not go on your phone while you're watching this video. Give it your undivided attention. If you will somehow get distracted and you will let your intrusive thoughts let you click on another video, then you're not going to benefit from this video, obviously. So give this video your undivided attention and it will benefit you greatly. If you don't understand anything from this video, then comment down below and ask questions. I will be glad to answer them. And it's ironic that I'm making this video because at the moment I'm actually struggling in a relationship because of my attachment style and my attachment issues. And I believe around 80% or maybe even more people have attachment issues. So watch and you may figure out what kind of attachment issues you may have that you are not aware of. And you becoming aware of these issues will solve your problems greatly because you will then try and work on these problems and try and resolve them before they hurt someone else, before they actually develop into something more that can damage another person or damage yourself. Um, so yeah, stop ranting and let's get on to this slide here. So attachment styles explained. Here I have all kinds of attachment styles. So secure, avoidant, anxious, and disorganized. These will be very well discussed in the later stages of this video. So attachment theory is a psychological idea that stems from early childhood experiences that will later influence and form the type of relationships that we will have in later life. So most attachment styles are, well, all actually attachment styles are built from your childhood experiences, and I like to call it childhood trauma because everything in life is childhood trauma. Even if the little things in life that have happened to you really influence your later life. Up until the age of 8 or 9, you really sponge everything up in your life and you soak in all of the information that you can. And most of it comes from your parents. Most of it comes from the style of parenting that your parents used on you. And later on in life, if they had used some kind of unideal parenting style, then you will have some issues later on in life. And this is the main reason for you watching this video actually, because if you will have children later on and you have a avoidment or you have a attachment style that is not ideal, then you will give this attachment style or this attachment problem to your child, and then they will you know give the attachment issue to their children, and it's a chain effect that it can only be broken with you. This is basically what I'm trying to say. So anyways, let's try and make this video, and I can also learn from this. So yeah. So what will you learn in this video? You will learn what is an attachment style. You will learn four main attachment styles and how they work. You will also learn what attachment style you have. So you'll understand attachment styles and you will possibly understand which one affects you at the moment and which one you have developed through your life. Then you will learn how to heal yourself from the possible toxic attachment style. You will also learn how to have a successful, loving relationship eventually. After watching this video, after implementing the techniques on healing, you will eventually learn on how to have a successful relationship. Now, then you'll also achieve a secure attachment style, which is the best one. So having a secure attachment style is ideal. It is going to benefit you, your loved one that you're trying to have a relationship with. It will benefit your children, your children's children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, and so on. It runs in generations, it really does. So if you don't fix your problem at the moment, you will eventually give it on to someone else, like I explained before. So here we have some pictures of people having problems. Yeah, currently in this situation, so yeah, we'll try and figure it out. So you want to be like this here. You want to have a nice attachment style and a loving relationship. Okay. So what is an attachment style and why should you care? Why should you care? Why should you care about attachment styles? Why are you watching this video? Basically that's what this slide is about. So you may have been raised like your parents were. So this is what I explained earlier on. Your parents were raised with a unideal attachment style. So basically, your parents' weren't able to show love to your mom and dad. They weren't able to show unconditional love. They weren't able to raise them in an ideal circumstance. And this is very difficult to do. Raising your child in an ideal circumstance is practically impossible unless you are gifted from God, unless you're literally a master, which hopefully you will be after watching this video and implementing the techniques. But your parents weren't raised well, and they eventually gave you the same issues that they had because they never resolved them, because they never understood them, because they never paid attention to these things. Because life is difficult, life is there's a lot of things in life that you go through, and you may not have time to even recognize that you have issues. So, yeah, you may have been raised just like your parents were. So, the bond between you and your parents in early childhood is the most important thing. It's how much love they show you, what kind of love they show you. If you cry and you're crying, your parents may be like, okay, shut up, stop crying. Or they may be like, oh no, little Johnny, it's okay, like, don't cry. Or they may just leave you alone and say he will stop crying eventually and not even pay attention to you. These things play a very, very important role in your later stage in life and your childhood. So these little things really add up. Their way of parenting was wrong or unideal. It wasn't wrong. It was unideal. Wrong is a very, very harsh word, and you can never blame your parents for something. It is just natural to trial and error with especially your first child. This is why sometimes the second child turns out a bit better, and the first child always has these kind of issues. Um, you learn as you have more children. But obviously, if you have your first child, can you really expect to be ideal and show them everything that they need to know and show them the best kind of love that there is? It's really, really hard to do that. This is why, again, you're watching this video. So, due to this childhood trauma, you develop a certain characteristic in adulthood. So, you develop certain attachment styles. You develop problems, basically. You become insecure. Okay, this is basically the next line. You're now clingy and afraid of being alone or insecure. So, you now have issues of having, some solitude. You're afraid of solitude. You're afraid of being alone, or maybe you're afraid of being in a group. You're just maybe you're too clingy. Maybe you're insecure with everything. Maybe you're like perfect. You have, the perfect jawline, you have like the perfect body, but you're still insecure. This is all because of these attachment styles that you developed. And in a relationship, maybe you become very insecure. Maybe you start checking your girlfriend's phone because you have trust issues. Maybe you start being jealous with everyone that she hangs out with. These kind of things. You have difficulty opening up emotionally or being intimate. So you're basically insecure while being intimate, and you're afraid of being intimate, or you're afraid of intimacy. So this is also a byproduct of a certain attachment style that we will later discuss. You are being avoidant in a relationship, which is actually very true to myself. I feel like I have an avoidant attachment style, which I will later discuss. And at the moment, I'm actually having problems because of this attachment style, and trying my best to resolve these issues, which I will later again tell you how to heal from these issues. So, why should you care? You will have troubles in your relationship, and the other person will suffer. This will basically be the exact truth. You will not solve your attachment style, equals the other person will suffer. They will not have a good time with you. They will also develop some kind of insecurities because you will not be an ideal partner for them. This is very difficult stuff here to grasp. So each slide will make it more clear. So if you don't understand what the hell is going on, each slide will make it more and more clear. So just bear with the presentation. I feel like also making this video without this kind of presentation would have been very, very difficult. So this is why all of these notes are for me to help you and for you to also read as you go along. So your child will develop the same exact troubles if you ignore this. So yes, your child that you will have eventually will develop the same thing that you have, and it's unideal. So it's your again, it's your responsibility to break the chain. So this is the first attachment style that we are going to be discussing, and it's secure attachment, which is great. So your parents did a great job bringing you up. They were aware of this, or they were also brought up very well. So they were maybe aware of attachment styles, and they said, you know what, enough. I'm breaking this chain, and enough of that. My parents brought me up wrong. I didn't have the best childhood. Now it's my turn to show my child the best love they can have. They broke the chain. Now you have a secure attachment style, which is amazing. We all want this attachment style, and we all can achieve this attachment style if we do enough work on ourselves. So, you as a child were able to interact with your surroundings and other people with ease and confidence. You didn't have any kind of trust issues, you didn't have any kind of insecurities as a child. You could come up to people and just chat to them. You were very confident with yourself. You didn't have a hard time even explaining your emotions when you were a child. So, again, this is a byproduct of secure attachment. You felt protected and safe by your parents, so your parents did a great job of giving you that security, showing you that, you can trust me. Basically, yeah, you can trust me. I'm a great parent, and you can trust me with anything, and I will give you the unconditional love, and you can feel safe in my arms. This is basically what you felt, and now again, you have a secure attachment style. So whenever you were upset or down, you were not afraid to inform your parents on what's wrong. So whenever you were like, let's say let's say something was bothering you as a child. Maybe you were getting bullied in school. Maybe someone was picking on you, or maybe you liked this girl and you were just unsure of what to do, and you felt like, oh, I can just go to my parents and discuss all of this. I can just tell my parents that I'm getting bullied at school. Maybe they will resolve this issue for me. If you have any sort of toxic attachment style, this is very difficult to do because you do not trust your parents. You don't trust them to give you a good solution for your problems. So, if you had a secure attachment style and if your parents did a good job raising you, you could just go to them and say, "Oh, I really like this girl. Like, what do I do? What do I say to her? Or I'm getting bullied at school. Like, what do I do? How do I show that I'm stronger? How do I defend myself?" And your parents are then able to give you a solution. So this is all again secure attachment. So you were confident that they would resolve your distress, or at least try to. Again, they would try to resolve your problems. This is good. Now you have a good communication skills and can express yourself very well. So I feel like even though I may have some avoidment attachment styles, which I will later explain to you, I feel like I still have a good ability to communicate. I have good communication skills, and I can also express myself quite well. I think it's because of maybe a lack of ego. Maybe it's because of some part of humility that I have, that I can accept when I'm wrong. I don't have that kind of shyness that I can basically admit my wrongdoings. I can ask for help when I need help. I don't have that kind of ego about me. So maybe this has a part for my communication skills and my expression. But if you had secure attachment, you if you had a secure relationship with your parents, basically, now you have good communication skills and you basically have an easier way of living than other people do that have attachment style issues. So yeah, just keep it up. Find a partner that has the same secure attachment. Otherwise, you will need to do a lot of work. So let me go into a little bit of detail about this. So find a partner with the same secure attachment. So if you find yourself a girl that has secure attachment and doesn't have any issues, and you have a secure attachment, you will have a very easy time in the relationship. Obviously, fights always happen, always something always goes wrong, and you can resolve it, but you will have a way easier time resolving things. You will have an easier time communicating, being honest, trusting your partner. You will not need to check their phone. You will not feel like they're being promiscuous. You will have a lot more trust in them and yourself. So this will be an easier way of dealing with things. Now, if you find yourself a partner with, let's say, a toxic attachment style that I will later discuss, they might have the need to check your phone. They might not be trustworthy, trusting of you, even though you may have perfect capabilities of not being promiscuous, or you would not be cheating, or just you're a loyal person. You don't need to be checked. So they might have some issues still because they have some kind of attachment issues and they will feel like they still have jealousy and insecurities towards you. So yeah, you will need to do a lot of work. So what I mean by a lot of work is you'll need to try and solve all of these things. You will need to try and somehow, yeah, just resolve something. And it always takes a lot of time to resolve every single issue in a relationship. So it's basically like trying to resolve childhood trauma, which is literally the hardest thing you can do. Trying to like resolve childhood trauma is so difficult. So you'll need to do a lot of work with your partner. If And again, I'm not telling you to go and look for someone with secure attachment. You may need to do a lot of work, and that's fine. We're here on this earth to do a lot of work. We're here to make other people's lives better. This is what you're here for. It's like you're doing God's work. If you find someone that has issues, that may have had a difficult childhood, like you always hear like girls and their daddy issues. It's difficult, but it's you doing God's work. You're making their lives better. If you somehow contribute to their healing and you heal them from their attachment styles, then well done. It's really difficult to do that, and I had to do this myself in my relationships, and it's not easy, but it's somewhat gives you purpose. But then you have to be careful because it can become your only purpose, and it's a difficult road to go on. So yeah, you will need to do a lot of work, but you're here on this earth to do work. You're not here to have a good day every single day. You're not here to party. You're here to make other people's lives better, and that's what I believe. You need to, in this earth, from the moment you're born, you're here to make other people's lives better and not worse. So again, you really need to work on the attachment styles that I will later explain to be able to give people that sense of security. Give your children that sense of security. So yeah. So anxious attachment style, insecure, not great. I suppose this kind of explains it. Stay hydrated. Have some water while you're watching this video. So if you need to pause at any time, pause. I will need to pause at certain times because it's very difficult to talk for this period of time. You get a sore throat, and I'm just recovering from a sickness as well, so bear with me. So anxious attachment styles. Your parents were unable to be consistent in providing care for you. So they just were inconsistent. You as a child just had a wavy sort of experience with your parents. One day they were fine, the other day they weren't fine. They were very inconsistent. One day they were okay at solving your problems, another day they weren't. One day they praised you for doing something. Let's say you cleaned the room, and they were like, "Oh, well done. You did a great job cleaning the room." And then the next day, they said, "You didn't clean your room enough. Your room looks messy." Even though you cleaned your room, they expected more of you the next time, and they said, "This room is not cleaned. This room is dirty. It's filthy." And then you kind of develop these kind of mixed feelings of like what's right and what's wrong. And these are just little things. You can come up with big examples of inconsistent care, but this is just one of them. As a child, you were left unsure whether your parents had the ability to care for you. You were left anxious and uncertain. So this is the case for my parents. I feel like my mom experienced some issues with her childhood. I know that she had very inconsistent care, but nowadays my mom is doing very very well of taking care of me. She gave me the best childhood that she could give me. I feel like she actually healed from her attachment style, and for me personally, she provided great care. But for herself, as a child, if the kind of care that she received, I didn't get that. So she must have resolved these issues. But it's still evident in some cases. But it's just inconsistent. Like, let's say my granddad, he suffered with some alcoholism issues, and my mum, she wasn't taken care of very well. She sometimes even got left at a bus stop somewhere, and my granddad forgot to pick her up from there, so she was left alone there for like hours because my granddad went off to drink alcohol, and this way my mum developed these very difficult times in her childhood, and she had a very difficult childhood because of that. And if she hadn't had solved these issues, then I would also have attachment styles that my mum had, if that makes sense. So this is the kind of you know uh, you're unsure that your parents have had the ability to take care of you because they were always inconsistent. One day your dad would leave and he would not come back for 2 days. One day your mum would leave and not come back for 2 days. Maybe your mum and dad had like some kind of fights all the time, and you didn't understand these fights when you were a child, and you just had your parents missing for continuous hours, and you just didn't know what to do. You felt like what's going on. And as a child, you do have this primal instinct of knowing what's right and what's wrong. So this is a this is also a reason. It's a big reason of why I had have an anxious attachment style. Your parents put an anxious idea into your head, and they were being overprotective, like saying the world is dangerous. So let's say you wanted to go outside and play with friends, and you said, "Oh, like my friend Kevin, he's outside, like he has a ball and he wants to play football with you," and your parents. Sorry, my dog is just barking. Don't know what's the story there, but anyways, your friend is outside the door waiting for you to come out and play some football with him, and your parents are saying, "No, you're not allowed to go outside. It's already 5 o'clock," even though there's like still 4 hours of daylight outside. Your parents are still overprotective of you and saying, "No, you can't go outside. It's dangerous to be outside at this hour." Or they're saying, "No, you can't go outside with this friend. He's a bad influence on you." Or this is all coming from a good heart. This is all coming from a good place for your parents, but they do not realize that doing these things actually will affect you very, very much in your later life. So they're just being overprotective of you and shielding. You see these movies where like some kids are wearing like helmets indoors. So they, it's like an over exaggerated overprotectiveness. But it's very, very true in some families that the child is being babied up until they're adults, and they're not given any sort of responsibility. They're not giving any responsibilities that they can just manage on their own. They always get babied. They always get lunch made for them. They always like there's kind of somewhat of a distrust. Your parents do not trust you to be independent, so they just have to do everything for you, and you're left very afraid of the world. You're afraid of doing anything yourself. Then, when you have a partner, then you always have to look for approval. You always have to be like, oh, is this okay? Like, is this okay? Is this sandwich okay that I made? You look for constant approval from your partner later on if you do not fix this anxious attachment style. Parents didn't trust you, leaving you unable to be independent. So this is exactly what I said. So your parents didn't trust you. They said, you know what, you're unable to be independent. I will do everything for you because I can do it better. And then this leaves you basically in a very tough situation in later life. Abuse. So this is one thing that can also happen in families. Your parents may have abused you, or maybe your parents had alcohol abuse or drug abuse. This also creates anxiety and distrust. If your parents have had abuse with alcohol or drugs, you will have very, very difficult time with anxiety and distrust. And also, the same way, if your parents abused you, if they beat you, if they slapped you all the time, sometimes a belt on the bum is okay, if you're really misbehaving. But if this happened without any reason, and if they just wanted to unleash their anger upon you, then you will develop very big anxiety and distrust issues because you'll feel like you were abused as a child. And then I don't even want to get into the sort of abuse like molestation. If you're some parents molest their children, and this leaves children with very severe childhood trauma. And yeah, I'm not even going to talk about this because you probably can already understand what kind of issues can come from that. So you crave the love and intimacy you never have received. So your parents didn't give you the love and intimacy that they also didn't receive when they were children. Your parents never learned to give love because they never received love. You can only learn how to love if you had received love before. This is the number one thing you should know. If you've never received love, you will not be able to show love unless someone shows it to you. And this goes again to, finding a person that has a secure attachment style. If you find a partner that had received love and they can show you that love, this will fix you later on. This will fix all of your problems just by receiving that love. I will explain this later on in detail. So, yeah, you just crave love. As your primal instincts, you crave love and intimacy. You really need that nurture. You need that care. You're afraid of being alone or in solitude because of these attachment styles or attachment issues. I keep saying attachment styles because it's just written here. But because of these attachment issues now, because of the care you received as a child, you're now afraid of being alone. You're afraid of being in solitude. And you can really tell this with my mom actually. She's afraid of being alone. She doesn't like spending time by herself because again, she had abandonment happen in her life where her dad left her at a bus station, just with hours to wait, and this happened multiple times, and it was very inconsistent. So now she has issues with being in solitude, even though solitude is not loneliness. You need to spend time with yourself and spending time alone. But some people have very very big difficulties when they have to spend time by themselves. It really scares them, and they always try and be in groups because of that. You worry your partner won't be there for you. So yeah, you now worry that your partner will not be there for you because your parents weren't there for you. So you think that your partner will be the same because you never received the love. You never knew what love is. So now you're just thinking that whenever you have a partner, you will just expect the same thing from them. You always expect the same thing as your parents. Um, like the kind of care that your parents gave you, you always expect that kind of care from your partner. You're now overly clingy, so you are too clingy. You want to spend all of your time with your partner, or you're afraid of abandonment. You're just like I said with my mom and many other people that I know. They're afraid of the other half leaving them, and they constantly worry about being left alone. They're afraid of rejection a lot. not only from the partner, but they're afraid of rejection from a job. They do not take the risks necessary to go out and find a job because they feel like, they're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of coming up to a girl that they like on the street and saying that she's pretty. They're also afraid of that because they're afraid of rejection. They're afraid that they're going to be misunderstood, that they will be ridiculed, that they will be made fun of. So, again, all because of attachment issues. You need constant reassurance now. You're highly insecure, so you need constant reassurance. You need constant what's the other word? Anyways, you need constant reassurance. So now that you have a partner, you always need them to tell you that this is okay what you did. You always ask them, oh, is this okay, or is this okay? Oh, did I do this okay? Is this sandwich nice? Oh, you always need you always need someone to tell you that what you did is okay, because now you're very insecure in yourself. You don't trust yourself, so you need someone else to, yeah, approve. That's the word I was looking for. You need someone else to approve of what you're doing. So, yeah. So read emotions, actions, words very quickly, and have a high chance of getting them wrong because you're overthinking. This is a big one. So let me take a sip of water for this one. Okay, so you read emotions. So let's say someone is angry, or you think they're angry. You look at emotions very, very intently. You Because your parents were giving you a mixed emotions all the time. They were giving you mixed care. Now you read emotions very, very quickly. So you may misjudge someone's actions. You may misjudge someone's words because you are overthinking. You are insecure. So this makes you overthink whatever they're saying to you. And this doesn't only go for partners. This goes for even your parents. This goes for your friends, your colleagues in work. You have a high chance of misunderstanding what the person is actually telling you because you're very quick to judge. You have a short fuse basically. So whenever someone says something, you get an idea in your head that this is something else because you're insecure, and you nitpick when you're insecure. Every little word stands out to you and you overthink it. Or maybe they have used one word wrongly that they didn't mean to use, and now the only thing you hear is this one word that really stands out to you. So this is again the byproduct of attachments issues. You are jealous frequently and always think the worst case scenario. So yeah, now you're just insecure. You're jealous of your partner. You're jealous of everything. You're jealous of, you want to check their phone, and you're constantly worried when they go out, even with friends or just out alone. You always need to be with them because you're clingy, because you feel like they will abandon you. You feel like they will leave you, so you always need to be with them. So yeah, you always think the worst case scenario because again you're insecure. You have issues with overthinking, so you overthinking everything will constantly give you that worst case scenario. So you know this is only natural. It's crazy, actually. It's crazy how many people have this sort of attachment style. It's it's really, really sad. Then avoidant attachment style, also bad, and this is like something that I have. I don't have avoidant attachment style a lot. I have it just a little bit, but yeah, I still have a little bit of attachment issues myself. So if I if I'll have time, I'll expand. So your parents failed at showing you emotional support and responsiveness. It's very similar to the previous attachment style, but your parents didn't show you that emotional support that they needed. So when you were crying, let's say they were kind of just ignoring you. They said it's okay. He'll stop crying eventually. When you were sad, they didn't really care. They didn't really, they said, you know what, it's normal to be sad. It's okay to be sad. So stop being sad. They didn't really like resolve anything. When you were Yeah, when you achieved something nice, when you had a great achievement and you were proud of yourself, and you said, "Oh, mom and dad, look, I did this," and you were so proud of yourself, and your parents kind of just brushed it off and said, "It's okay," you know, like it's normal, it's everyone goes through that. So that kind of lack of emotional support and lack of responsiveness really fucks you up. You were crying, yeah, let him cry, he will stop eventually. You know, you receive little to no love from your parents, they might have had the same parenting. So again, your parents' parents, so your grandparents were unable to show your parents love, and now they're unable to show love, and now you're unable to show love. So unless you fix that chain again, you're going to be stuck in that cycle. Selfish parents prioritizing their own needs before yours. So your parents may have had some ego issues. They may have had some, you know, they want to take care of themselves first. They don't really. They said he will manage okay by himself, but you know, they were just looking after themselves more than you. But maybe they were looking after you, but maybe just not enough. So it just comes from selfishness, and yeah, then this basically makes you selfish. This makes you prioritize your own needs before your child's later on in life. Then you're not able to show love. You know, this runs in generations, so it's your job to fix this. So this is when you see selfish people, when you see people that are very unable to show someone attention but themselves, or show someone praise, this is because of avoidant attachment styles. This is because of that issue, because their parents did the same thing to them. So yeah, it just ran in generations. So this one's, yeah, I'm struggling with this here, because I'm not very bad, but I need to prioritize this. And just I'll get into it later, but I already probably fixed more than half of my issues in within 2 years. No, actually less. Within a year and a half, I already fixed more than half of my issues. So I feel like I know what I'm doing, and I feel like I can give you the pointers to make you, especially with avoidant attachment style, to how to get better. And I will probably have videos on this later on as well, just separate videos on avoidant attachment styles, on how to heal from this. So I'll make a specialized video. Yeah, this shows you that there is no need to seek help outside of yourself, over independence, and cannot rely on others. So you are overly independent. So again, I became very independent very early in my childhood. Like, even when I was 10 years of age. Sorry, I got a phone call. So basically, the story went like this. I had a sore tooth, and I needed to get a dentist appointment. And I was 10 years old. I was only literally 1 year in Ireland, and my English wasn't that good as well. So, my parents had jobs, and they had their own responsibilities. They needed to take care of things financially, and they didn't have great English. So what happened was, at 10 years of age, I finished school, and I went myself to the dentist to make an appointment. So I walked over to the dentist, to the dental place. It was like a big medical center, and I was knocking on every single door, trying to talk to people. Some doors were like people weren't answering, and then I found this one door where people answered, and I was just like, what, my tooth is sore. I need a dentist appointment. I need to get a filling. And they were like, where are your parents? Like, who let you in here? I was like no one. Like, I'm just looking for a dentist appointment. Like, can you help me out? And long story short, but yeah, eventually they said, yeah, just get your parents to come with you, because they have to be with you. And I got like a dentist appointment 2 days later. So that I was always overly independent. I did everything myself. Since the age of 9, I was making myself lunch every single day. Like, I never had lunch made for me. I was always making lunch myself, and I was just overly independent, and it really, really showed. So, yeah, and cannot rely on others. This is also an issue that I have. So overly independent again, where I don't trust others even to drive. I don't like when I'm in the passenger seat and someone else is driving. I like to drive. I like to be in that seat where I'm taking care of, everyone else. That I trust myself to drive. So yeah, I just have a hard time even with this, and it even shows just as silly things as, like, let's say flying an airplane. Now I understand why am I afraid of being inside of an aircraft when I'm flying to, let's say, a country that is 3 hours away, and I have to do this very often. Why am I afraid of flying? Because I don't trust the pilot. I don't trust the whole experience of flying an airplane 30,000 feet in the air. I don't trust it. I know it's the safest mode of transport, but I don't trust it. It's because I don't want to rely on others. So, my dad is the same. He has an avoidant attachment style. He also doesn't like flying. So it really, really shows in your later life of how things can turn out. It's really fascinating. And again, I do not blame my parents whatsoever. They did their best to take care of me, and they did a great job taking care of me. But it's just funny on how things can turn out because of parenting. Later on in life, you're like afraid of flying. You're just, those little things just add up so much. And yeah, so again, this will be a big video. I feel like I'll have to make a separate video on this. So you avoid showing emotion, and oh, actually, you skipped one. You struggle to receive and provide emotional intimacy. I feel like I fixed this because I received a good attachment style. Like, it was a different attachment style. I think I was with a person that had an anxious attachment style before. So they were able to solve my issues, and I was able to somewhat solve their issues. So I feel like I've already healed from the side effects of, receiving and providing emotional intimacy. So I've already healed from this. You can't in any way be vulnerable, even in a loving relationship. I've halfway healed from this, the vulnerability in a relationship. Like 99%, I've healed from this already. You avoid showing emotion, extremely afraid of getting hurt. Somewhat still struggle with this. You're afraid of showing emotion because you're just afraid of getting hurt. It's just as simple as written down. You avoid a close relationship altogether. It intimidates you. Like, a close relationship means that you have to be honest, you have to be trusting of the other person, you have to give them basically your life. Your life is in their hands most of the time. So this is very difficult to achieve when you have an avoidant attachment style. When you have the avoidant attachment issues, this is very, very difficult to maintain a close relationship. So again, I will have to explain on how to resolve these things. You become overly selfish in the relationship. Prioritize your own needs, not your partner's or child's. Again, this is what kind of happened to me, and this is kind of what I am doing at the moment. I'm still overly selfish in a relationship, and yeah, I prioritize my own needs more than anyone else's. So again, somewhat healed from this, but I feel like this is actually for me the most difficult thing to heal from. The being overly selfish in a relationship and prioritizing your own needs. So yeah. Then there's the third attachment style, and this is fearful attachment style. It's confusing. It's horrible. So basically, your needs were met with chaos. So when you were crying, they were shouting at you. They were saying, shut the hell up, like, stop crying, or maybe they would even hit you if you're crying. You may have been emotionally or physically abused. It's very, very difficult. Again, I don't want to speak of the extremes like molestation and the rest, but you were just emotionally abused by your parents because they were emotionally abused by their parents. It's the same. It's If you constantly think about this video, it's all a chain reaction. Your parents didn't fix these problems, now you have these problems. It's your now turn to fix all of this and not pass it on to the next generation. Parents had this style, never fixed it. Substance abuse, maybe. So as I said again, it's kind of like with an attachment, anxious attachment style. It's very common where on attachment, anxious attachment styles, it's very common where your parents were stuck with substance abuse, and this is the fearful attachment style is maybe 90% of the cases, maybe a bit less, but 80% of the cases probably were substance abuse related. They showed you love one moment because they were on the substances, they were on alcohol, they had a drink. Some people actually are more abusive when they have alcohol, but it all depends again on more factors. But they showed you love one moment and then they were shouting at you the next moment, like literally like minutes apart, and you were just so confused as a child. You're like, do they love me? Do they not love me? Like, what is this? You're just so confused. So very disorganized, very confusing. This is horrible. I even wrote down horrible. I wrote this whole thing 2 weeks ago, but I remember I was like, this is horrible. I would hate to be in this situation. So yeah, unable to predict the next encounter, don't know what to expect. So you're like, you know, what's gonna happen? Is my dad going to come in through the door right now and going to beat the hell out of me? Is my mom going to come in through the door like proper, drunk, crawling on the floor? Like, what's gonna happen? You're so confused. You're fucked up. you're really emotionally fucked up with this attachment style. It's horrible. So you felt a lack of safety for these reasons. You just didn't feel safe. You felt like you were always in fight or flight. You always felt like you needed, you needed more, but you never received it. It's just never felt safe. You now want intimacy and connection, but also fear rejection and abandonment. This is like such confusing and contradicting feelings. It's like you want intimacy, you want that connection because it's primal to you. You just crave it. You want love. You want importance. You want that love, but you're also afraid of it. You're afraid of that they're going to reject you when you gain their love. You're afraid that they're going to leave you. So it's like you're stuck in this limbo and you don't know what to do. So you regularly suppress your emotions and you can't talk openly. You just don't. Yeah, you don't express your feelings. You just suck it all up into yourself and then you explode one day. And then again you suck it all into yourself and you just amount all of these little things into yourself and then you just can't, you explode again. Like emotional chaos. This is horrible. Yeah, you want love but also fear betrayal. So conflicting, very contradicting factors. Limbo. It's like you don't know what to do. Cycle of push and pull. You push your partner away, wanting them back in their attention. So you feel like throwing a tantrum and being like, oh, I don't need you anymore. Like, go away. Like, I don't need your love anymore. Like, go away, you slut. And you're hoping inside that this is going to somewhat bring them back. That it's like so toxic, man. This is like so toxic because you feel like you also feel like they have fearful attachment and you feel like you pushing them away will actually bring them back. It's so contradicting and so confusing. I tried my best to understand this and I watched a lot on this. I read books on this and it is so confusing, but it's just fascinating how these things work. And this is possibly, yeah, this is the worst attachment style you can have. So for any of you that are listening to this or watching this video, I really feel for you guys. And I feel like I can someday help you to get away from this attachment style and how to that maybe you can give your children a better life and you can give your partner a better life. And again, there's one solution to this and I can't wait to get into it later on. So you're confused about your emotions, you're unable to regulate them, and if you won't fix them again, your children will have this and your relationship will be toxic. So yeah, it's very, you probably understand this. You understand what I mean by everything I said here. And you also probably feel a lot of empathy for the people that experience this kind of attachment style here. So yeah, we have a slide here. It's like know your attachment style. So again, secure is the best. I convey my feelings comfortably and honestly. I can manage my emotions really well. I do not have a fear of abandonment. This is great. Like, so anxious attachment style is like I constantly feel alone, and this often leads me to thinking that nobody cares about me. I want people to pay attention to me. It's like, yeah, this is horrible. Avoidant. I am self sufficient and emotional connections are unnecessary for me. I am fine all by my own. This is like my dad. My dad has this, and I have this a little bit. I've already healed from this, like I said before, but I still have a little bit that I need to fix. And I can't wait to fix this because I can just imagine how beautiful life will be when you fix all of these things and you become, you have a secure attachment style. Like, this will be beautiful. So I'm very, very happy making this video for you guys because I feel like if you know about these things, you're going to be able to act upon them, and you'll be able to resolve these things. So I'm very happy. If this video gets a lot of views, I'll be very happy because then I helped a lot of people. So this would be very important. So yeah, this is me. I feel like 10% of the world is like this. It's secure. I feel like 50%, no, maybe 40% of the people are like this, anxious, and then probably 20% and 20%, avoidant and disorganized. I feel like most people have an anxious attachment style for some reason. I may be wrong, but that's just how I feel. And then disorganized. So this is the last one that we discussed. I can hardly trust anyone because my parents were, drug addicts or whatever, alcohol addicts. I can't trust anyone. I better not. I better not, based on my past experiences. Yeah. It's best for me to stay away as I don't want to fall in that pit again. So you're just like, you're fucked up, man. You have a lot of issues, and I'm going to try my best to study the disorganized attachment style and see how I can help people with this attachment style right here, because I feel like this is the most difficult to help people, because people that have this are the most emotionally broken people, and again, they can't trust anyone, so it will be very hard to reach them, and it will be very hard to get through to them, and they won't be able to trust me. So yeah, I have to put a lot of emphasis on this. So yeah. So which do you have? Reflect on your past relationships to know which one you have, and reflect on your childhood again. So try to remember your behavior in these relationships. So whenever you had a relationship, whenever you were like, if you were not in a relationship, then try and remember how you were as a child, and try to remember what kind of parenting you received. If you were in a relationship, then try and think of how did you act in your relationships? Were you overly jealous? Were you overly self-sufficient? Were you always confused? Try and think about this. Just based on the previous slides, think about, what I'm saying here. Did you feel comfortable expressing your needs? If you felt comfortable expressing your needs, may you have a secure attachment style. If you're constantly jealous or insecure, then you had an anxious attachment style. You feared being alone or too close to your partner, may have been mixed, may have been the limbo of disorganized attachment styles. So remember your child on how were your parents towards you. So remember how your parents were towards you. Remember what kind of care they gave you. If you cried, maybe try and remember this. If you cried, what did your parents do? Did they tell you to shut the hell up? Did they tell you to, no, it's okay, don't cry? Or were they like, you know, were they like, no, just leave them alone, like it's okay? Like, they didn't even say anything when you were crying. Just try and remember these things. Whatever I mentioned in these slides, try and think back. Like, see, I'm making these slides, so it's very difficult for me to think what you may have. But I hope that with those slides, you already know what you have. Because, as I was reading the avoidant attachment style, it was like, it was connecting so well with me. It was like, I made these slides 2 weeks ago and I kind of forgot what I wrote down. But, I was just reading these and I was like, fuck, man, like, that's probably why I'm having all of these issues in my relationship at the moment. Because of this attachment style that I have, the avoidant attachment style. So, so yeah, you probably already know. I'm hoping you already know what you have. And if I feel like, you know what, if you have any doubts on what you have, the attachment style on what you have, you may have a secure attachment style, and you may just kind of maybe not trust your intuition so much. But yeah, I'm hoping you have a secure attachment style. That's what I'm hoping for. So yeah. So, how do we heal ourselves from toxic attachment? Well, how do we heal ourselves? This is the most important question. So, let's see the slide. What does this say? Traits of someone with a fearful avoidant attachment style. This is like the last one we were discussing, which is horrible. Desires intimacy but fears rejection. Feels unlovable. Distrusts people that will support or accept them. Yeah, man. And it's like, see this person in the back. He probably has like a good attachment style. He has like a secure attachment style, or maybe anxious or avoidant. Like they're better than this one, but he's just trying his best. He's like, man, why are you being like this? Like, can we just can we just love each other? And yeah, this poor person is having a really difficult time because of all of this childhood trauma. So okay, acknowledge that you do indeed have an unideal attachment style. So step one of healing is always acknowledgement. So any issues that you have, any childhood trauma, any avoidment attachment style, doesn't matter. The first step is to acknowledge it. So I acknowledge myself that I have an avoidment attachment style, even though I did most of the healing already because of my somewhat successful relationship in the past, that my partner helped me out to overcome these things and show me how to love and how to do everything like this. I'm very lucky. So yeah, the first step to healing is acknowledgement. Realize that you actually have a problem. Realize that this is induced by childhood trauma and forgive your parents. Step two of healing is forgiveness. So you need to forgive. You need to forgive your parents because they were trying their best. Even if they, like this person, had the fearful avoidment attachment style, realize that your parents unfortunately also had the same avoidant, fearful attachment style. That they also may have had parents that drank alcohol, and they had parents that had like drug abuse or whatever. That maybe they were even molested. Who knows? Like, this kind of stuff is very, very dark. So realize that your parents did their best, but they just had unresolved issues. So forgive them. As find it in your heart to forgive your parents and to just move on and heal yourself. Because first step, you acknowledge it. You're like, okay, I have this attachment style. I need to somehow figure it out. Now I need to forgive my parents. If you're not going to move past forgiving, if you're never going to forgive your parents, you're never going to heal yourself. Understand this very well. So healing is such an important part. It's probably the most important part is forgiving. Forgiving is very difficult, but it's also very, very what's the word? It's it feels good. Forgiving feels good. When you forgive people, it feels like a weight has dropped off your shoulders. That's what I'm saying. So realize that this will cause harm to you and your partner and your future child too. So realize if you don't heal yourself from these attachments issues, that you will potentially make your partner's life very difficult and your child's life very difficult too. Okay. So forgive yourself and ask for forgiveness. So again, forgive your parents, forgive yourself that you had this attachment style. If you were in a relationship and you may have given your partner a hard time, you may have given them like a really hard time because you were just so difficult to deal with. Forgive yourself. Don't dwell on it so much, and maybe contact them and ask for forgiveness too. Say, you know what, I realize the things that I've been doing wrong. I realize what kind of messed up shit I've had in my life. explain that this may have come from these attachment issues, and ask for forgiveness. And if they don't forgive you, at least you tried. Have the humility within yourself to ask for forgiveness. It's very important. Drop your ego down. Your ego is going to destroy you if you don't drop it down. Learn about healthy, secure attachment. So, learn about secure attachment, and this is what your aim is. Your aim is to have a secure attachment, and it's achievable by everyone. The least chances to achieve a secure attachment is for people with this fearful avoidant attachment style, that when their parents were like alcoholics or drug addicts. This is the hardest, because then that's when people like become maniacs. That's when like it's not funny, like people become really bad people when they have this attachment style, and they sometimes even cause a lot of harm, like start killing other people. It's because of how their parents raised them. It's very important to know these things. So be honest with your partner about your attachment style. I feel like, again, I haven't done that. I have not done that. Being honest with my partner about my attachment style, I have not done that, because maybe I just wasn't aware of my attachment issues so much like I am now. So again, this is why I may be experiencing issues. So be honest with your partner. Tell them, you know what? I've seen this video by Rob Dwell, and he explained attachment styles to me, and maybe showed this video to them and be like, look, this video by Rob Dwell, he's explaining all the attachment styles, and maybe even watch the video together, be like, okay, you know what, you may have this attachment style, or your partner may be like, oh, this is literally you seem like you have avoidant attachment style, like you're kind of selfish, and have the trust in your partner to be able to talk about these things, have like the humility to also say, oh yeah, look, there's me, like I have this attachment style, make like a little joke about it. Like life doesn't have to be all serious. Like, whatever happened. Like your parents kind of, didn't really do a good job. They tried their best, but this is life. Like this is most of the world experiencing this. So just don't take it so seriously. Obviously, you need to heal from it, but just take it with a little bit of happiness. Realize that one day you will heal yourself and you'll be fine. Ask for patience from your partner. So while you're trying to connect with a healthier style of attachment, so while you're trying to connect with while you're trying to achieve a secure attachment style, ask your partner to be patient with you. So, or you being patient with them, like vice versa. Like, just say, look, just be a bit patient with me. I'm trying to work through some things. Like I was watching this video by Rob Well, and he was going into detail on how I heal myself. So, it's basically, yeah, ask for patience because one day you will achieve it. And yeah, so realize it's not cringy, to be honest. If your partner sees this as weak behavior, they may have attachment issues of their own. So sometimes your partner may be a little bit unreasonable. Sometimes they may be a little bit like not understanding of you. So just realize, yeah, this is fine. Like 99% of the world lives like with these attachment issues. So be honest. Like just don't feel like it's cringy to open up. You know, they say, oh, men should not open up emotionally. Yeah, like to some extent, you shouldn't be overly emotional. You shouldn't cry about little things, but you should have the humility within you, and you should have the manliness within you to tell your partner, look, I may have some issues. I have an avoidant attachment style, and I need to work through it. So be patient with me. I'm very sorry that I have this attachment style, and I'm sorry that I'm causing you pain, but I'll try and work through it, and somehow we'll try and resolve things, and maybe in a couple of months I will have a secure attachment style, or be a little bit better. So realize it's not cringy. It's very important. So yeah, and if they see this as weak, maybe this is not the right person for you. So what contributes to a healthy relationship? So again, communication is key. Openness, honesty, and transparency. Again, I feel like I haven't communicated as well in my relationships about my avoidant attachment style. If I had communicated about these things, I may be in a different situation at the moment. I do not regret anything, but I'm just happy to know this at the moment. And you know, life is a beautiful thing. It's like, healing is a part of life. So, you know, enjoy every little moment, even healing. So, and yeah, communication is key. Openness, honesty, and transparency. Be transparent with your partner. Be honest. Be open. Be open to receive just as much as you're open to give. Trust and reliability. Trust your partner. I know it's hard to say if you have the last attachment style that I talked about, the fearful avoidant. It's like, the worst one. You may have very difficult time trusting people, but again, it contributes. Trust contributes to a healthy relationship. So yeah, respect and understanding. Understanding and respect very well correlates with openness and honesty, and yeah, and trust, because respect is basically trust. Because if you respect someone enough, then you trust them, and if you respect someone enough, then you are honest with them, because you don't want to lie to them. And if you're not honest, then what are you? You're dishonest. So yeah, if you respect someone enough, then be respectful enough to be honest. Compromise, meet in the middle. So always in a relationship, if you are having troubles, try and meet in the middle. Try and become a person that can compromise and find some kind of common ground. Quality time, spending quality time together, going somewhere nice, going for a walk, doing some hobbies together, grab a coffee together. Just spend some quality time together. Learn a new skill with your partner. Like draw. I feel like one fun thing is like find a little animation on the computer or whatever, or put a little animation picture on your phone. Like let's say, I don't know, Pikachu, and say, oh, like let's see who draws Pikachu the best in like 5 minutes, and say like, oh, you and your partner, like let's say put a timer for 5 minutes and put a picture of like Pikachu on the screen, and take a sheet of paper together, each with a different sheet of paper, and in 5 minutes try and draw the best Pikachu. Like kind of little things like this. Spend quality time together. Play a board game. Listen to music together. Go and lie down on the grass and just look at the sun. Well, don't look at the sun directly, but you know, quality time. Just share a laugh. Try and understand each other. Speak about some memories you have with each other, and it's always a good time. Quality time is very important, and I feel like a lot of couples actually struggle to find something to do, together. A lot of couples don't know what to do. They're always bored and they always resort to like watching Netflix. Yeah, watching Netflix like once a week is okay, but man, if you're gonna like sit there and binge watch a show every single day with your partner, you're gonna get bored of each other. So just be careful of what you do together. Support one another. Support is very important. And forgiveness and patience. Again, forgiving the little things, forgiving the big things. Find it in your heart to forgive someone, forgive your partner, and be patient with them. Realize that they have some attachment issues of their own, and be patient with them while they work through them. But make sure that they realize them. If you watch this video, show it to them. If you don't like this video, if you found a better video, show the other video to them. But make sure to, you know, discuss attachment styles with your partner. It may be something that will save your relationship. Equal contribution from both people can only make this successful. So, it's like if one person gives more than the other, it's never going to be great. You'll always feel like something is off. So equal contribution from both people. You may be contributing, I don't know, financially, and the other person might be contributing like by making food all the time. It's like you find a balance within things. And this is very important to find balance. The end. Yeah, the end. Actually, not the end, because I want to speak about something before. So let's speak for 5 minutes about something very important. I'll take a sip of water for this. I'm using a different microphone. I hope you can hear me better than the last video. But okay. So I mentioned for a little second that you want to find a person with a secure attachment style to make your healing process better. I also mentioned that I found a person in my previous relationship with that had a different attachment style than I had, and this also aided me in healing somewhat. So I'll speak about this for a few minutes. So I'll actually go to this slide because it talks about healing. So it's very similar. Don't know what the word is, but anyways, I didn't have any space to write this all down in this because what I want to talk about will take maybe longer. So I wanted to speak about it separately because this is the most important part of healing. So I may have mentioned before that you will only know how to love if you know how love feels like. So if you've never felt love, and if your partner has never felt love, do not expect to have love. And do not expect to have a great relationship. If you're if you never had love, but your partner had love, it's very likely that this will help you to know how to love another. This will help you how this will help you learn of the basics of love. This will help you heal from your avoidant attachment style. So if you have an avoidant attachment style, you may need to find someone with a anxious attachment style. So if you have avoidant, you may need to find someone with anxious or with the good one, with the secure attachment style. Let me start from the start. This will make more sense. Okay, so we'll start from the start. Secure attachment style, you can find yourself any relationship. It will be more difficult if you find a partner with avoidant, fearful avoidant, or anxious. It will be more difficult for you because you will need to do a lot of work. But this is good because you need to heal people. This is why you're on this earth, to make people's lives better. Why else are you here? Don't be selfish. You need to be a bit of a good Samaritan. So if you have a secure attachment style, you can pick anyone, and you can make their lives better, and you will feel good about yourself by making their lives better, and they will feel very, very grateful to you. If you have an anxious attachment style, you need to find yourself someone that has any of the three as well. You need to find someone that has a secure, avoidant, or secure, avoidant, or even this one, the fearful avoidant, because you can again, their their different attachment styles will help you heal yourself, and you will help them. Like, you will fill in the gaps for them, and they will fill in the gaps for you. Think about it as a puzzle, and they have the missing pieces. You have half the puzzle complete, but you don't know where the half the pieces are. They have half of the pieces. The same way you have half of the pieces for their puzzle, but you share the same puzzle. You understand? So you are both doing a puzzle, and they can't complete their puzzle because they're missing half the pieces, and you can't complete the puzzle because you're missing half the pieces. So you need to find someone that you can share these pieces with, and you can complete one puzzle and share it together. And this puzzle is love. This one big puzzle is love. You need to make a big puzzle with your partner. So I hope you understand this little analogy here. Whoa, what's happening here? If you have a avoidant attachment style like I have, oh, actually, go back a bit. Go back. If you have an anxious attachment style, you may not want to find another person that has an anxious attachment style. you'll find it very, very difficult to, yeah, you'll find it very difficult to find some common ground, because you both have the same puzzle. You understand? Unless you like do a lot of work, you both have the same puzzle. You can't complete each other's puzzles, right? Then I feel like I'm onto something here. Because I didn't really think that deeply before. If you have an an avoidant attachment style, you shouldn't pick someone for a relationship with avoidant attachment styles, but you can pick three of the other ones. Obviously, the secure will be the best because they will show you love straight away, and you will be able to learn from them. But then again, they can give you the missing pieces of the puzzle, you know? And now if you have this attachment style, the fearful avoidant, you can pick three as well, but don't pick the same one. Don't like I know it's really tough to say, like, oh, don't go pick someone else with the same attachment style. Like, how do you even know? I suppose time will tell, and you just kind of look out for signs. But if you pick the same person with the same attachment style, you will find it very hard to share this puzzle of love. So I hope you understand what I mean. If you pick a different attachment style than that what you have, you'll be able to complete each other's puzzles by giving them the missing pieces. This is what I wanted to say, and I hope you understand it. So yeah, I want to leave it with this. Yeah, realize that you cannot love if you don't know what it is, and you'll only know what it is if someone shows it to you. So, so yeah, this is kind of the end. Well, let's click to the end. Yeah, subscribe and all that. Like and share with your partner. This is the most important part. Don't care about subscribing, like, whatever. It's good for the algorithm. More people will see it. The more of you subscribe, this will get recommended to more people. I mean, who the hell has patience for over 1 hour? Yeah, an hour and a half maybe to watch a video about something like that. Who the hell has the patience? But if you have the patience, I mean, maybe this will help you. So if you know someone with enough patience, then share the video with them and maybe watch it with them. And if you're a couple watching this video, then I hope you can heal yourself from these attachment issues. So yeah, subscribe because it'll get shown to more people. Like, it'll get shown to more people. Comment as well, because again, YouTube pushes these videos. If like the more views I have, the more likes and the more subscribers I have, the more people watch this, and that means the more people get help. So find it in your heart to yeah, do all of these things because it will help everyone else. And then I feel like my job is done. So yeah, nice. Have a good day. Oh yeah, notification bells too, because that helps too. So yeah, I hope you can heal yourself. And if you don't understand something about this video, or if you disagree with something that I said, please tell me, because I am eager to learn. I'm very eager to learn about something else. So yeah, that's it for this video. Peace.